With the new Fab Marketplace, there's an awful lot of options when it comes to plugins, and it can be kind of hard to weed through them, especially as a lot of them are still getting ratings. So today we're going to look at my 5 favorite paid plugins. Now, this video is not sponsored. There's no sponsorship for this. This is just my current top 5 favorite plugins, the ones I use the most. So let's go ahead and take a look at those right here. Now I've opened it up in incognito because I own these. So I want y'all to see the price. Now these I double checked and I believe these are all the same price that I paid when I got these. But I wanted to make sure that y'all could see an accurate price for what they are currently. So starting off, we're going to start off with Zomg's editor add-ons. This is a handy little plugin that comes with a few different things. Now, just as a side note, I may be a little biased here. I do hang out with a guy in Discord from time to time, and he's a very chill dude. He's especially frequent on the Unreal Slacker Discord, but he, has this in his bio, and I saw it, and I was pretty interested in it, and I've been using it now for I believe going on about a little under a year. I think it was in July of last year when I started using it, but I have definitely come to love some of the things it adds. So let's take a look at what all it does. So there's a few things here. For one, you have the details panel. You can sort them in whatever order you want. You can add categories and things like that. This part is pretty useful, but for me, the big useful thing is this and the next one I'm going to show you here in a second. Add new place actors categories. So what this does is you can, in your settings, add basically a category and then what specific blueprint you want it to add. So for example here, as you can see in the place actors section, he's now got a category called Shooty, and it's got a list of his different Shooty characters. So this is real handy for level design, when you've got all your AI and everything created, but you want to go plop some down in some sections rather than having to go, dig through the content browser and go find them, especially if they're in multiple different folders spaced out over your whole project. This is so much easier to be able to put them in one place, and you can make as many categories as you want, so you can have, it split up however you'd like. The other thing that I really like is having it inside this sub menu of a new asset menu. So for example, here, as you can see, when you're running to create custom asset menus, you basically do it the exact same way you do the previous one. So the place actors one, you basically do it the same way, but you can basically select the different blueprints here. And then when you're going to create a new one, you can use that as your base. So rather than currently the way you have to do it in Unreal Engine, you have to go search for that item. You have to go new, for example, if I open up my project here, if you want to go and let me go into like a folder somewhere here. But you say I wanted to create a new thing based off something. What I actually have to do is go to blueprint class. And then let's say I want to do a new spawnable. I have to then go type in spawnable debris. What this lets you do is if it's something you create a class based on it frequently, you can just go ahead and actually have it right there in that drop down. So that's super duper handy in my opinion. It also allows you to customize the new blueprint menu. This just gives you, so for example, with that search earlier, rather than just having the defaults at the top, you could actually set your own custom classes as those defaults, which is also a very handy thing to do. And then searching blueprints in a folder. So in Unreal Engine, you can search for blueprints, but you either need to search the entire project or the specific blueprint you're looking for. What this lets you do is search a specific folder, which I think is something that should be part of the base engine. A lot of these changes I think should be part of the base engine. That's why this is on this list, because it's such a great feature. But yeah, I believe that is everything. There's of course some more details down here if you want to see them, or you can actually watch a video. It does, I believe, work for Unreal Engine 4.27, except for the search and blueprints feature. But yeah, honestly, this is hands down one of my favorite plugins. I definitely recommend you it. It's $10 for both the personal and professional, so I don't see any reason why you shouldn't get it. It's a super handy piece of kit. But yeah, so we'll go then and move on to my next favorite. Again, like I said, these are not in any particular order, but the next one is electronic nodes. This is hands down the one I get asked about the most when I'm using it in a video, is how do you get those straight lines? And this is one of my favorite plugins because of just how crisp and clean it can make the editor look. So as you can see here, this is showing off the default splines, so how they sort of have this bending look, and you can put a point in between. Versus you have the Manhattan style where you have more 90-degree angles, or the subway style with 45-degree angles. I personally like the subway style. I tend to use that one, but the Manhattan style does look pretty cool as well. It has darker nodes. This is an alternative plugin. It's not part of this plugin, but darker nodes gives the different nodes here a slightly different look. I personally wasn't a big fan of that. I like the original style, but for those of you looking for something more like that, that would also be where you can look for that. Now, as far as how configurable it is hands down one of the most configurable plugins I've ever seen. As you can see here, if we open up this, we've got a whole bunch of different options here in terms of what you can do with electronic nodes. You can even have global settings. So this would be basically for all of your projects if you want them to all look all the same. But you've got a whole bunch of options, and then this is just for where you want it to work at. So for example, if you don't want it on the behavior trees or Niagara for some reason, if you want it to be without those, you can turn that off. And then it's also got the wire styles here. It's got wire alignment. You can change the priority of where it actually makes those bends. You can choose a radius, wire thickness. There are a lot of options. You can even override certain styles. For example, here the exec wire style you can override, or the ribbon style, which is currently experimental. You can activate a ribbon style as well. Then they also have bubble styles. For specifically, I believe this is for different display rules, but I haven't fiddled with that one too much, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. But yeah, that is why electronic nodes is definitely hands down one of my favorite plugins. It is just so much flexibility to it, so many things you can do. And it's $12.99, and that might seem like a lot for an editor plugin that just changes the style, but I promise you that it is hands down worth it. And sometimes it goes on sale, but the actual developer of this is a super chill dude who very frequently updates this and keeps it, up and running, and tries to get his updates out before the new releases. So they usually release like a early version that people can access. That's sort of like a, hey, here's looking ahead at what 5.6 is going to look like. And usually he's pretty on point having an update for it. This actually is not correct. I'm not sure why it says 2024, because I believe 5.5 when that came out, he was pretty much updated immediately. So the update there is not completely correct, but yeah. And the cool thing with this is it's in the editor only, so you don't need to worry about taking up any project space. It's just there to make your project look cleaner. But all right. We'll go ahead then and move on to our better homing projectiles. Now this one is an actual gameplay one. The first two are specifically editor. This one I have been recommending to people because it is hands down one of the handiest and fastest ways to get started with more complex projectiles. Now if you just need sort of default projectile behavior, you can usually get away with just Unreal Engine's default styling. But what this one does really great is homing projectiles and missiles. Now there's still, I believe, a little bit of work being done behind the scenes, but the two big parts of this is the missile movement component and the projectile movement component. I actually use this system in my current game for my missiles. Now I've sort of built on top of this, because the cool thing with this is he delivers you the project in such a way that you have access to the code on the back end. And so the cool thing with this is I bought it. So now what I can do is I can go in for my specific project. I can tweak and refine this to really work for what I need it to do for my project. I can go in and change things, not just on the front end, because on the front end in Unreal Engine, it exposes a lot of variables for you. So for example, if we go take a look at one of my missiles, let me open up one of them here. Missile V2, we'll open up our base missile. So this is the missile movement component. As you can see, there is a lot of different things exposed here, and there's a lot of things exposed for your blueprint. As you can see here, this is one that's kind of gotten out of hand, and I need to write it a little bit and move some of it to C++, but there's an awful lot you can do. And then on top of that, that is just what you can do on the Blueprint side, you have full access to the C++ on the other side. So you can go in and tweak things. So for example, if you wanted a default to be different, you can change that. Or if you want the behavior to work slightly differently, you can change that as well. But yeah, that's Better Homing Projectiles. Hands down, one of my favorites. It's only got 10 ratings, but honestly, it definitely needs more because it's a very handy little tool. Next, we'll move on to Game Analytics. So this plugin is what basically allows you to tie into their online dashboard. Now, the cool thing with Game Analytics, this screenshot's kind of blurry, but they have a free plan that allows you to track a decent amount of data. I believe the big way that they limit you on the free plan is in terms of the speed at which the data updates. So you'll if I remember correctly, you'll only be able to see the data update every like hour or 2 hours or something like that. But honestly, for the most part, if you're looking long term at the data, it's more than fast enough. But the cool thing with this is extremely simple to integrate into your project. Once you've got it set up and you've got the game analytics system set up, what you can do is, let me go back to my instance here. So let me go to my... All right, so once you've gone ahead and installed the SDK, what's really cool about this system is it's very simple. There's a start and end session. Once you've got everything set up, you can basically pass in variables in this sort of way. So for example, here I've created an event ID called overall, and then underneath that is a time played. So basically it works sort of like categories do in Unreal Engine. So you'll have, this is your top level category. So you have that split up amongst the different categories, and this is a secondary category or variable. And basically what you do is you can then pass a value into that. And once you pass that value into that, you'll be able to see it in your actual game analytics page, which I'm not going to show here just because I do have some player data there. But it'll basically come into here, and you can set up different dashboards and different ways to view that data, depending on exactly what type of data you're capturing. So for example, if you're looking at daily active users, you can break it down by country as they've done here. If you're just looking at the total, you can look at it in terms of a pure numbers. But there's a lot of different ways to look at it and see that data. But yeah, so that is game analytics. Next, we'll move on to Cine Cam, which actually technically is currently free. It is a very handy mode. I actually believe I got it when it was when it cost $15, but it is definitely worth it. If you can grab it free now, it should still be free by the time this video goes up. But it is going to end, I believe, the day after this video goes up, a little under 24 hours from there. But essentially, it's got a lot of really cool tools that allow you to set up cinematic cameras. So basically you can pop up key bindings, and as you can see here, you've got different focus modes, fly mode, free look, and then you've got all these different focal options. Now, my current project, I don't have this set up just because I'm not currently in the mode where I need a cinematic camera. But I have used this before to pretty great effect because there are a lot of really cool shots you can take with a project like this. Now, Unreal Engine does come with a cinematic camera, but the benefit of this one is there's a lot more of the cinematic camera exposed to you while you're in the actual editor there. So you can see you've got your overlay and everything. You can show it and have it ready to go, and you can tweak it while you're inside of that camera view, making it just that little bit easier to really control and refine what your camera's doing. But yeah, and of course, like most of these other plugins, they have a Discord as well. But yeah, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a really cool camera plugin. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. But these are my top 5 recommended plugins in no particular order. If you have any questions about any of them, definitely reach out. But otherwise, good luck and good hunting.